All right. So this is the outline for today's session. In all, we want to spend 1 hour 30 minutes to delve deep into this presentation. And so we'll have the introduction for 10 minutes. Thereafter, we'll have the welcome remarks by Professor Mavis Mensah, who is the chair of the collaboration subcommittee of the Ghana Research and Industry Collaborative GRIC. She's also the director for the Center for Entrepreneurship and Small Enterprise Development at the School of Business at the University of Cape Coast. Then from there, we'll have the presentation by Ms. Beatrice Tagoe for 40 minutes, who is a research assistant at the Sensory Evaluation Laboratory, Department of Nutrition and Food Science. Then from there, we'll have the Q&A for 25 minutes. And then we'll have the feedback, then also research uptake for 5 minutes. And then we'll have the summary, next steps, and closing remarks. And so we'd want to move straight into the introduction. And so respectfully, this is the approach. You would mention your name, your organization, any current project that you are working on, and then any collaboration that you would want to explore at this session. So in no particular order, we'll let Beatrice Tagoe introduce herself, and then from there we'll go in that sequence. So whoever, Beatrice, once you are done, you call the name in the chat, then the person will do the introduction. So we are doing this within the next 7 minutes.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Lamte. Please, if I get you correctly, when I'm done introducing myself, I call the next person.
Yes, please. Yeah.
Okay, in the participants list.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Good morning, everyone. My name is Beatrice Tagoe, and I'm part of the team of the Sensory Evaluation Laboratory, which is affiliated to the Department of Nutrition and Food Science in the University of Ghana. I'm currently a research assistant there, and I'm excited to be here and to be given the opportunity to share the findings of my research work. Yeah. And so I think the next person is Adjoa Mako.
Hello, good morning.
Carrots form for GRIC. You know, I'm a member of the GRIC. I do research and all that. Agric. Oh yeah. What do I need in it? Whenever I want to use it, the carrots and put some chocolate in it.
Yeah. Thank you. So Wilberforce, please could you introduce yourself? Okay. So I think Wilberforce has a challenge.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
We can hear you now.
Good morning. Yeah. I'm Wilberforce. Adigwe Orlando Wilberforce from Boga Technical University. Currently, I am running a program with UDS, which is a PhD under biotechnology. I have some experiences and then skills under food production through food biotechnology. When it comes to the potentiality about collaborative opportunities being explored, I have been able to work with KIC, and we are still working on some of them as well. And this is actually a collaboration between KIC and BTU. So we are looking forward, I'm looking forward to tap into more skills and knowledge as we go through this presentation. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much. I see Elsie Sako there on the call. So Elsie, if you are able to introduce yourself. Elsie, please. If
Yeah,
you're speaking, okay, speak here. Sorry.
okay. I'm Elsie Kakodiado. I am an ecological microbiologist and I belong to Tokyo University of Agriculture and Technology. Today, my purpose for joining this presentation is to learn more about the innovative mechanisms that were applied to carrot juice, and hopefully in future, I hope to collaborate with participants who will be interested in microbe, anything in connection to microbe interactions in plants or isolating microbes that are beneficial for plant growth to sustain productivity. I look forward to this presentation. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Elsie. I see Cindy Majite also on the call. So Cindy, kindly introduce yourself.
My name is Cindy Majite from the University of Ghana. I'm a student studying MA translation. Thank you. And I also want to be able to know how to use carrot juice to preserve sobolo. Thank you very much.
Thank you also. So I see Selma Lindsay on the call. So Selma, kindly introduce yourself.
Hello, please can you hear me? Good morning. My
Good morning,
name is
Selma.
Collins Lindsay with Ghana Enterprises Agency. I'm attached to the Policy Planning, Research, Monitoring and Evaluation Directorate. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Selma. So I see Adjoani Mako. I don't know whether she has already spoken because the voice was from Ivy. So
I haven't spoken.
Okay, sorry. All right.
Okay, good morning.
Good morning.
I am Adjoani Mako. I am into yogurt, tiger nut juice, and then sobolo production. And so I've been looking for ways to preserve my sobolo to have a longer shelf life. And so I believe this program will help me. That's why I'm here. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, madam. I see this Nana in Ketia, so kindly introduce yourself.
Okay, my name is Nana Ketia. I'm a Italian farm, so I'm in it to industry. I don't have any collaborative projects I'm working on right now. I'm chiefly into product development at this stage, so I'm looking to see how these findings can assist me in a future project.
Okay, thank you very much. I see Mohammed Yemofio on the call. So Mohammed, kindly introduce yourself.
Yeah, hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, my name is Mohammed Yemofio. With Ghana Enterprises Agency. I have my colleague already on the line, Selma. I'm also with the Policy Planning, Research, Monitoring and Evaluation Directorate. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. So I see Mami J on the call. So if she can introduce herself.
Hello, my name is Mame Ejay. I'm at the University of Ghana. I work with Beatrice and I'm super excited to be here to support her, present her research work on how she used carrot juice to control aging in Bissap. This is something we're all very passionate about at the Sensory Lab. And we are always open to partnering with industry on our projects at the Sensory Lab and also at the Dairy Research Consortium and the Department of Nutrition and Food Science. Thank you. And thanks for the opportunity, Julius.
Thank you very much, Mami. And then finally, I would want to call this Natasha Gake. If you could please introduce yourself.
Hi, good morning. I just joined. My name is Natasha Gake. I'm a second-year student, second-year MPhil student at the Department of Nutrition and Food Science. And for my project, looking at process optimization and shelf life improvement of Asana.
Okay, all right, sure. Okay, thank you very much.
Okay.
So in a want of time, we also have the team from Impact Investing Ghana. I see Justina Mensah is the deal source officer. I also see Diane in Tui. She's a PhD intern with us. There's also Josephine Brown, also with Impact Investing Ghana, and then myself. And so please, those that we haven't been able to ask you to introduce yourself, kindly do so through the chat so we are able to make maximum use of the time. So we want to move straight to the next part of our session, which is the welcome remarks. And I call on Professor Beatrice Mensah. She hasn't introduced herself, so let me use this opportunity to introduce her. She is the chair for the collaboration subcommittee of GRIC. And basically what we do at the subcommittee level is to find ways we explore collaboration and in the just strengthen the linkage between research and academia. So on this note, I invite Prof. Mensah to give us the welcome remarks. Thank you.
Right, thank you very much, Mr. Lamte. It's a pleasure to be here with you this morning. I intend to spend the next 5 minutes with you, so please accept my apologies. I need to also attend to another meeting that is going on currently at the University of Cape Coast. So today we are very fortunate to host our second industry brief, actually the third industry brief session. And I was privileged to be part of the first, which was on enhancing tiger nut milk for better stability and consumer appeal. I'm mentioning this because I think Madam Ajua Nimako mentioned tiger nuts. And so, Madam, if you haven't really come across that particular brief after this presentation, please reach out to Mr. Lamte to take up the discussions further.
All right, okay.
Good. So the industry brief session has 3 main objectives. And the first one is to try and then get us to talk like this, as I'm referring to researchers and industry players who are in charge of innovation. And we all know that for us, we do our research. The norm has been that we conduct research most often in isolation, but that shouldn't be the case, because whatever research we conduct, whether basic, applied, or use-inspired, should eventually drive our innovation, all right, with industry as the main actor for the promotion of innovation and technological breakthroughs. And so we are very excited to have this industry brief session going on. And I'm glad to say that we are making some inroads. For example, for the tiger nuts milk for better stability and consumer appeal. From my last inquiry, I realized that we are almost hitting 8, all right, 8 expressions of interest from industry players. And that is the way we want to go. So to bridge the gap between us and to enhance research uptake and to also help in funding the uptake of the research findings. And for today, we are very privileged to have Ms. Beatrice Nade Tagoe, a research assistant with the Sensory Evaluation Lab at the Department of Nutrition and Food Science of the University of Ghana, to take us through her presentation on carrot juice, the new preservative for better Bissap. I want to believe that the answer is yes. And so on that note, I would want to hand over to Ms. Tagoe to take us through her presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Mensah, Prof. Mensah, sorry. So I'll start by sharing my slides, but I have the permission to turn on using some network. Okay. Mr. Lamte, please, are my slides visible?
Yes, please, you are.
Okay.
Let's flow.
Okay. So good morning to our ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests. Thank you so much for the opportunity once again to present the findings from my research work, carrot juice, the new preservative for Bissap. So today I'll basically walk you through how carrot juice could potentially help in improving the quality properties of Bissap. So this is a quick outline of what we're discussing today. We'll start with my introduction, the research objectives, the methodology, key research findings, and I'll wrap up with challenges, opportunities, and then key recommendations for industry. We'll start with the introduction. So Bissap is a popular traditional beverage in Ghana, and in Ghana it's popularly known as sobolo. And this beverage is also known in other tropical regions. And Bissap drink is usually made through the water extraction of either fresh or dried Roussel calyxes. And Bissap contains minerals, dietary fiber, and various vitamins. And it's basically known for its characteristic sour taste and its brilliant red color. So it has an intense red color. We've observed that Bissap-based juices are unstable during processing and storage, and they become sour very quickly. And there are several factors that contribute to this rapid changes in Bissap. Our Bissap extract has an acidic taste, which I said earlier, and the acidic taste in Bissap is due to the presence of organic acids. And these organic acids cause the high acidity. And it's also known to be astringent and has bitterness, which makes beverages made from Bissap extract alone unappealing to many consumers. And because of the harsh taste of Bissap, processors use high quantities of sugar to balance out this harshness. Research has shown that blending Bissap extracts with various fruit and vegetable juices enhances its organoleptic and nutritional qualities. So what's the challenge we identified? For processors, the biggest problem with Bissap when they work with it is that the taste changes very quickly. And its properties change very quickly, especially when it's stored on the shelf at ambient. And so a lot of people resort to freezing because even in the fridge, it still changes quickly. And the particular sensory property that is changing is that it gets intensely sour very quickly. And so with time, it's increasing rapidly in sourness. And also, because it's too sour, people add a lot of sugar, which I mentioned, and this is a concern. And so if we are able to get a balanced taste of Bissap, we will not have to add a lot of sugar to Bissap when we are making beverages from it. And so the solution is to add carrot juice to control the rapid sourness of Bissap. And the evidence for this is going to be explained. as I go on. So we had one main objective, which was to specifically monitor the changes in the quality properties of Bissap when carrot juice in different forms is added to it. Specifically, we looked at the effect of adding fresh carrot juice to Bissap, the effect of preservatives on Bissap, and also how blanching carrots before juicing affects the final product. To my research methodology, the main raw materials used for this research were the Bissap calyxes and carrots. And for the carrots, we used an imported variety. For sample preparation, we used 4 formulations ranging from pure Bissap, which is 100% Bissap, to Bissap combinations, so combinations with fresh carrots or with blanched carrots, and then Bissap with preservative or without preservative. And so the table shows the 4 samples, 4 formulations that were made. And so this is a picture showing the 4 samples that were made in the laboratory. And so we have the pure Bissap, the 100% Bissap, which was our control, and then our Bissap with the carrot only, our Bissap with carrot and preservative, and then our Bissap with blanched carrots and preservative. These samples were stored at room temperature for 21 days, and various quality properties were tested. The major quality properties tested were pH, the titratable acidity, and color changes. And this was done at baseline, day 7, day 14, and 21 to track changes. Also, we conducted a sensory analysis, specifically the difference from control tests, to conduct any changes in the sensory properties over the storage period. And so to our statistical analysis, what we did was to compare, first of all, the 100% Bissap, our pure Bissap sample, with our Bissap with fresh carrots only. And this was to investigate the effect of adding fresh carrots on the quality properties of the Bissap. And the second major comparison was to compare the Bissap with only fresh carrots to now Bissap with fresh carrots and a preservative to investigate the effect of the preservative addition. And the last one was to compare the Bissap with the fresh carrots and the preservative with the Bissap carrot blend now with blanched carrots. And so now to our key research findings, to objective 1, which was to investigate the effects of the addition of the fresh carrots. We saw that in the changes in, first of all, the pH, the addition of carrot juice significantly reduced the pH. It reduced the natural sourness. So the blue trend shows the trend for the 100% Bissap, and the orange trend shows the storage period for the Bissap with carrots. And you can see that adding fresh carrots reduced the natural sourness of the Bissap. And also we observed that the fresh carrots gave a stable pH over 2 weeks. We are seeing a more stable trend in its pH over a 2 weeks period. However, we observe that there's a sharp dip in there. Now to the change in acidity as well. Please, can you hear me?
Your line will be breaking a bit.
Mr. Lamte, please, am I audible?
You are now. This is better now.
Okay. To the change in that the addition of the fresh carrot juice gave a more stable acidity. And so we are seeing a more stable acidity over the 2-week period. However, for the 100% Bissap, we are seeing a more fluctuating trend in its acidity over the storage period. And we see a sharp increase at week 3 for both samples again, which shows an increase in the microbial activity at this time point. Now to the change in color. We observed that the color density was lowered when carrot juice was added. And so we see that the Bissap with carrot only blend is way lower in color density than the 100% Bissap. But you can see that the color density is more stable with the Bissap with carrot juice added to it. Now to the changes in our bioactive profile, but before I get into the results, I'll just like to explain something briefly. When we talk about bioactive profiles, we are referring to compounds like anthocyanins and beta-carotene. And these compounds contribute to the nutritional value of the product. But they don't only just contribute to the nutritional value, they also play a big role in how the product looks and tastes over time. And so anthocyanins are the pigment responsible for the brilliant red color of Bissap. And beta-carotene, on the other hand, from carrots, increase the blend's nutritional profile by adding vitamin A benefits. Okay, and they also help in stabilizing color. So tracking these bioactive compounds allows us to understand how well the product holds up in terms of its quality. So with a change in anthocyanin content, this graph shows the stabilizing effect of adding carrot juice on Bissap. And so you see that the product with carrot juice added to it has a more stable anthocyanin content over the storage period. However, the 100% Bissap tends to fluctuate during the period. But we realized that for both samples, the anthocyanin content reduced. And so even though they both reduced, the Bissap with fresh carrot juice added to it showed a more stable trend during the storage period. Now to the beta-carotene, the change in the beta-carotene content. We observed that fresh carrot juice added beta-carotene, which is almost absent in 100% Bissap. And so this is the trend for 100% Bissap. We see that it's almost absent in it. However, when fresh carrot juice is added to it, it increases its beta-carotene content. And during the period, we see that the beta-carotene content in the Bissap carrot blend did not fluctuate with time. So our takeaway from this comparison is that when fresh carrot juice only is added to Bissap, it adds an important nutrient, which is beta-carotene. And this is a precursor for vitamin A. And this is very beneficial to our health as human beings. Also, the beta-carotene is stable throughout the 3-week storage period. And so you can be assured that you have a stable beta-carotene content during the storage period of 3 weeks. And also, the fresh carrot juice lowered the natural sourness of the Bissap. And it didn't just lower the natural sourness, we see that it also stabilized its pH and acidity throughout the storage period. And this is the most important thing in the sensory property of Bissap, because the main challenge is its increasing sourness over time. Adding carrot juice also reduced the color density, but it keeps its color stable throughout the 3 weeks period. So we noticed the possibility of the microbial activity at week 3. And so we considered the addition of a preservative. And how this preservative interacts with the carrot juice is important. And so this was studied, and hence the specific objective 2 to investigate the effect of preservative addition on the quality of Bissap. Now to the changes in the physicochemical properties. Here we see that the addition of the preservative increased the pH slightly more than the blend without the preservative. And its pH is also slightly less stable. It's slightly less stable. So this is the trend for the Bissap carrot blend with a preservative, the one in purple. And so you see it's less stable than the one without the preservative. Now to the change in the acidity, we see a remarkable effect of the addition of the preservative. And so here we notice a decrease in the acidity by week 3. And so within the 3 weeks period, there's a more stable acidity over the period. And so this shows that the microbial activity was inhibited with the preservative, which is not seen in the one without the preservative at day. In the 2nd week, we see an increase in its acidity, showing the activity of microbes. Now to the change in color, the addition of the preservative impacted the color density by week 3. And so here we see that the color density in the sample with the preservative reduced significantly. And so the addition of the preservative accelerated color degradation. And the color degradation is more linked to the pH and not necessarily the acidity, the titratable acidity. Now to the changes in the bioactive profile for the main color pigment that is responsible for the color of Bissap. We observed that the anthocyanin content for both samples decreased significantly. Okay, and the change in the color density, which I showed in the previous slide by the addition of the preservative, was due to the decrease in the anthocyanin content. And so here the sample with the preservative decreased by 69.9%. It had more loss in its anthocyanin content compared to the Bissap carrot blend without the preservative. And so you see this purple line, it's the one representing the sample with the preservative, and it's had more loss in its anthocyanin content. To the change in the beta-carotene content, we observed that the preservative didn't really have much effect on the beta-carotene content, in that you see, although the concentration appears to fluctuate over the storage period, this is just a slight, effect. And so for for the sample with preservative, it didn't really affect, the preservative addition didn't really affect the change in the beta-carotene content. Yes. And so to conclude on this comparison, the addition of the preservative successfully controls the increased acidity, which is likely to be caused by microbial activity. And so when you add the preservative, you have a more stable, and you don't see your acidity increasing, which could be due to microbial activity. However, when you add preservatives, it comes with some compromises in the color. And so although the acidity, the taste is controlled, you have changes in the color. And so from research, we found out that color changes could be controlled by blanching the carrots before juicing. And so blanching the carrots could improve the color of your carrot juice before adding it to the Bissap. And this could help improve the color of the finished product. And so we wanted to also investigate the effect of blanching the carrots on the resultant product. And so here we'll be comparing the sample with fresh carrots before adding the preservative to the Bissap carrot blend with the blanched carrots and the preservative. And so for the change in pH, we observed that blanching the carrots before juicing and adding the preservative stabilized the pH during the 3-week storage period. And so the green line is the one representing the sample with the blanched carrots. And we can see a stable trend over the 3-week period, while the one that has just the fresh carrot seems to have a fluctuation in its pH during storage. Now to the change in the acidity, we see that the blanching of the carrot was not successful in stabilizing acidity. And so here you see that it dips at day 7 and increases again. And so this was not successful as stabilizing acidity. A change in color. For the change in color, we see that as expected, blanching of the carrot stabilized color density, because we got to find that blanching carrots helps to stabilize the beta-carotene content. So on the carrot juices side, it's stabilizing its color density, hence the resultant stabilization in the color density of the sample during the storage period. However, the color density was lowered when the carrot juice was not blanched. So when the carrots were not blanched, we see that the color density was lowered and it reduced significantly at the end of the storage period. Now to the change in the anthocyanin content, which is observed that the blanching of the carrots. So for both samples, we observed that for the sample that had the blanch, both of them had a decrease in their anthocyanin content. And the blanching of the carrots led to a sharp decline in the anthocyanin content. And so here you see that the one with the blanched carrots had a dip in its anthocyanin content at the end of the storage period. So the blanching of the carrots was not able to keep all pigments in the Bissap. Now to the change in the beta-carotene content. Blanching increased the beta-carotene content. And so you see here that for this trend line, which is for the one without the blanched carrots, it's way lower in beta-carotene content. However, the one with the blanched tends to have a higher beta-carotene content. And this is because blanching helps to release and stabilize the beta-carotene content. And the beta-carotene content was stable. We see that it was stable in both their blanched and non-blanched samples. And so both samples had stable beta-carotene content over the storage period. So to conclude on this comparison, we realize that the effect of blanching the carrots before juicing it and adding it to the Bissap extract stabilized color density, but it couldn't stabilize anthocyanin content. It decreased sharply. And so this, so the beta-carotene content as well was, however, increased. And this is more responsible for the stable color density that we observed in the sample that was blanched, and is not more related to the anthocyanin content. And so also the blanching the carrots before juicing stabilized the beta-carotene content, as I stated earlier, but it did not stabilize anthocyanin content. And so the conclusion we can make from this is that it's likely that adding carrot juice in its fresh form is better at controlling taste and color than adding it in any other way. To observe the changes in the sensory profile, specifically their appearance and their flavor, we used a difference from control test where basically we had human assessors who were asked to tell us how different the stored products were from fresh samples. And we used a 5-point difference from control scale here. And so with this graph, the left, the y-axis shows us the degree of the difference of the samples from the control. At day 7, this represents the sample without the blanching, and the one with green represents the Bissap carrot blend with the blanched carrots. So at day 7, we observed that both samples were not significantly different from the controls on day 7. So at day 7, all assessors said that the samples were not different from samples we gave them. Appearance was the same. But however, at day 21, the stored samples, so you see here that we have a degree of difference of 1.34 and another of 2.07. So at day 1, there's one in color, and however, the difference seen with the blanched carrot to the green, which represents the blanched carrots, difference here was slightly higher than one blanched carrots. And so this confirms what I said earlier, that addition of the carrot, its fresh form, is better at controlling color than with it in any other way. And so if you want a more stable color, you can add your Bissap in the carrots in its fresh state rather than blanching it. For the changes in flavor, we see that the taste is controlled by adding carrot juice, whether it is blanched or not blanched. And so whether blanched or not blanched, both samples were not significantly different from the controls on day 7. However, a difference was seen at day 21. At day 21 here, there was a difference for both samples. So those are the ones with the longer bars. And this shows that there was a slight difference. And this is not really different in flavor from the fresh samples. And so the taste confirms that the taste is controlled by adding carrot juice, whether it is blanched or not blanched, because both of us gave us a less than 1 on the 5-point DFC scale.
Next academic year, the defense IT, because I see them.
So for the summary of our key findings, to summarize everything that I have said, we saw that the addition of fresh carrot juice reduced the natural sourness of Bissap, and it also improved its pH stability and its acidity during the storage period. Adding fresh carrot juice to Bissap also enhanced its beta-carotene content, and it also helped in preserving the physicochemical color parameters over time. And so it keeps its color properties over time. And for the addition of preservative, we saw that the preservatives helped with the microbial control, but it caused a faster color breakdown, and we see that it also influenced fluctuating trends in the pH over the 3-week period. And to the last treatment, we observed that the blanching of carrots enhanced the beta-carotene content and stabilized it during the period, but it didn't really have any effect on stabilizing its color pigment. So it didn't have any effect on preventing the breakdown of the color pigment. But The blanching of the carrots also gave a more stable pH over the storage period. And so why should industry stakeholders care about our findings at all? First of all, adding carrot juice, it does not only improve the flavor, but it also enhances nutrition. So we see that it not only reduces the natural sourness of the Bissap, but it also enhances nutrition by adding the beta-carotene content, which makes the Bissap carrot blends more attractive to health-conscious consumers. However, the challenge we saw was the color degradation, with the ones that had preservatives added to it. And so addressing color degradation will be key to ensuring long-term market appeal. And also this research can guide the development of new and more stable tasting Bissap-based beverages, There are certain challenges we encountered that I would like to highlight. And the first one was the color changes over time. And this could be a concern for consumers, because consumers usually associate the vibrant color with, freshness and quality. So tackling this issue would be very essential. And also the cost of using fresh carrots in large scale production could be an issue for manufacturers. However, despite these challenges, they also present good opportunities, for industry. And so we could explore alternative preservatives, which could be explored to help balance light and also control the color. And then we could also explore packaging innovations, which could help mask the color change. As taste is not a problem. Taste is something that can be controlled. And so the major problem now would be with the color during the storage period. And so based on our findings, here are some actionable recommendations for industry. And so we want industry to consider using fresh carrots to maintain the sensory quality of Bissap over time, because from our findings, it's something that can reduce the rapid sourness of Bissap, which is the major problem. And we can also explore other preservatives and other packaging options, which could help improve the color control. And, also we can develop Bissap carrot blends with diverse flavor profiles, looking at our health-conscious consumers, people who are more interested in healthier options for them. This is something that will be good for them. And then also, another recommendation for industry would be to conduct market research to understand consumer preferences, and this would help us to optimize product formulations accordingly. And so when we know what consumers are looking for with regards to the product, we can optimize the formulation better for them. And so what's the business? So what's the business what's the business case for this exploration? From the financial perspective, while carrots may have a higher initial cost, their benefits in stabilizing taste and enhancing nutrition could justify the investment. Okay, and looking at market demand, consumers are looking for healthier natural drinks. And so the addition of carrot juice provides a strong marketing angle for these people. And this can also increase sales potential of our Bissap carrot blends. And, like I said, the initial cost to incorporate carrot juice may be higher due to sourcing, but with the improved flavor, it could ultimately lead to higher profitability. And so this Bissap carrot blend could be positioned as a premium product, allowing for higher pricing. And so for stakeholders who are interested in this research, I can offer consultation on how to implement these findings in production. And my goal is also to provide ongoing support to ensure the successful commercialization of the Bissap carrot blend. Carrot juice presents a promising solution for controlling the sourness of Bissap. And with further research on packaging and ingredient optimization, we could create a Bissap carrot product that meets consumer demand for healthier and more stable beverages. Before I end, I'll appreciate the GRIC session. I want to appreciate the organizers of this for the opportunity given me to present my work. This showcase, and I believe that moving forward, I'll be able to collaborate more with industry. I want to appreciate my supervisor, Dr. Meyakwa, for her immense support, her guidance, and her help with my research work. Without her, I don't think I'll be here today. And I also like to thank the Central Evaluation Laboratory for their immense help, the technicians and all those in the lab who helped me with my work, and they were so supportive. And lastly, I'd like to appreciate the department which I'm from, the Department of Nutrition and Food Science. It's an amazing department, and they've been of great help and so very much. Mr. Lamte, please, I'm done. I'd like to hand over to you.
Okay, thank you very much, Beatrice, for in time. You've given us 2 minutes extra to add to our 20 minutes Q&A. Just to say we are grateful for the presentation, the time taken, and also walk us through your work. So we open the floor for questions. We have 22 minutes for question, and then in the chat there were a couple of questions that came, but I would want to start with those on the call, then I would add those that came in the chat. So please kindly raise your hand, and then we'll call you. So I see Nana in Ketia asks hand raised. I would want to take it in badges, and so let me see the hands raised first, and then we could go in badges. So who else has a question to ask? Kindly show by hand. Okay, so I see Adjoani Mako also, and then who else again? Okay, I see Emilia also hand raised. Any last one to go? Then I see LC. So we'll take this for a round of questions, and then we'll come back. So let's start with LC, Sakwa de Ado. Then to be followed by Emilia, then Nana Nketi, and then Adjoa. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your wonderful presentation. My question is, with the taste, after adding the carrot juice, was sugar added? And if sugar was added, did it have any effects on the differences in the taste? That's the question. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So Emilia, I kindly ask you a question.
Thank you so much, Julius. Hi, Madam Beatrice. My question has got to do with the coloring. Okay, personally, I am very careful whenever I have to take Sobolo or Bissap, and it's due to the coloring. So I just wanted to ask, maybe you've touched on it, but I want to ask, is there a way the carrot is able to, enhance that effect where you take the Bissap juice, or you don't really get the coloring on your teeth and tongue? Is there an angle to that you may want to touch on? Thank you.
Okay, all right. So there's Nana in Ketia. Kindly ask your question, and then Adjoani Mako would ask her.
Thank you very much. So my question is, based on what I see on the market, usually Bissap drinks include ginger. So I would want to know if And if that was considered to run the same trial with ginger, since ginger could help reduce the activity of microorganisms, or if it wasn't considered at all, and why it wasn't, if that's the case.
Okay, thank you very much. And then finally, Joanne Macro. Thank you.
Thank you. I think I have two or three questions, sir. What preservative did you use? And then which one do you recommend? And then what packaging is best for Sobolo or Bissap? And then when it comes to the carrots, fancy you are making 100 liters of Sobolo or Bissap. How much quantity, how much like kg of carrot juice or ml of carrot juice is ideal for 100 liters of Sobolo? And can it be also, when it's outside the fridge, it's 3 weeks. What about if it is in the fridge or in the freezer? How long will it take? Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for those round of questions. And so Beatrice, kindly respond, but I've taken notice of them. So if there are some that you haven't answered, I'll just draw your attention. So kindly take over. And then also, since your supervisor also is here, she could also come in to support. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for your questions. Okay, so for the question about adding sugar, no, sugar was not added, because the main idea was that we wanted to get the basic interaction between the Bissap and the carrot juice without extra, which could mask color and flavor, and so if we add sugar, you may not really get to find out if the carrot juice is actually reducing the sourness or not. And so this was the basic interaction we wanted to find out between the Bissap and the carrot juice. And so we tried to eliminate most ingredients that could mask the flavor, and prevent us from actually seeing what was happening in there. Yes. And then for the person who asked about if the carrot juice would tint the teeth after taking it. No, the product does not change the color on your teeth after you take it. So that's the answer to that. About ginger. So we didn't consider adding ginger because looking at the flavor profile of ginger, it could mask, flavor, and the main thing that we wanted to identify in there. And so we didn't consider it because it could prevent us from, getting the actual interaction that will be happening. And so it's something that could also potentially mask the flavor of, the Bissap, even though we can agree that it could help in keeping it microbiologically. But we tried to eliminate extra ingredients which could prevent us from seeing or observing the actual changes in the flavor profile. And so that's why we didn't consider ginger in there. Yes. And for packaging, the lady who asked about packaging, sorry, I didn't get the first question you asked. So I'll answer maybe when I'm done, then you can ask that question again. I'm so sorry. So for the packaging, the best packaging solution for Bissap would be a package that kind of prevents light from passing through. And so you can have maybe dark colored PET bottles, because one thing that affects Bissap or causes the rapid degradation in the color could be light penetration. And so if you can control light we can control the degradation of the color pigments in Bissap. And also, glass is also a good option, but looking at the price of glass, we can explore, tinted plastic material that could be better. But glass too can also be an option because glass is one that prevents air from passing through. And air is also one thing that causes, the degradation of, the breakdown of color, So those are two options, but as time goes on, we can consider the more, affordable option, the less expensive option. And so those are my suggestions. And for 100 liters of Sobolo, I'm sorry, I can't really disclose how much, carrots you can use, because that's like my patent, that's like my formulation. And so if you are interested in working with us, we can, work around that. Yeah. And so the sample was kept at ambient temperature. Thank you, intellectual property. So the Bissap samples were kept at ambient temperature. And so before it changes in color, it's able to stay on the shelf for about 2 weeks. Yes, for about 2 weeks, it can stay on the shelf and you will not see a major change in its color. After 3 weeks, you can see a change. And even in that change, like I showed you in the slides, it's just a small change. It's not really a huge difference in the color change. And for the person who asks how long it can stay in the fridge or freezer, so I mean, with my Bissap carrot juice, if it can stay on the shelf for 2 weeks, then in the fridge, it can stay longer. Yes, it can stay longer. I'm sure you can have it in the fridge for about 1 month. So, yes. Yes. So, please, I hope I've answered most of the questions. Please, if I haven't answered your question, can you kindly ask again so that I can answer it?
So I think the question by LC, I don't know whether you answered it, about you adding sugar, was sugar added, and if so, did it make any difference?
No, we didn't add sugar. We didn't add sugar, and I stated earlier that the reason we didn't add sugar is because it essentially masks the flavor of the Bissap carrot blend, and the main we wanted to look at was we didn't add sugar to it. Yeah.
Julius, I'm trying to find the raise hand, but I can't. But if I can just chip in slightly with the shelf life.
Please, you could speak.
I can't tell pricing when I go out there.
May I please continue?
Yes.
Yes, please. Mommy, please, you could speak.
Accidentally muted. Okay. I was saying that the shelf life that Beatrice answered, yes, it could potentially stay longer, but I know with commercial products, you're also thinking of display fridges. And she highlighted that one of the precursors for degradation is light as well. So all the experiment was basically at ambient on the shelf. It should last longer in the fridge, but you should be careful not to expose it to light because most display fridges have light. The fluorescent lights, not inflorescent light, that are used to heighten color, and that could actually speed up the rate of degradation. But we don't have experimental data to support that in this work. So just to add to that insight. Thank you.
Okay. You want to take the final 2 questions, and then we'll go to the next important part of this session. So if there are follow-up questions. So I think I see a question in the chat asking that, so would you advise producers to include ginger and sugar, since that is the taste that consumers are used to? So that's the first question on in the chat. And then the second one is there a perceptible difference in the taste that can be easily picked up by a consumer? Yep. And then the third one from Joyce, it says, how long did it take for the hibiscus to change color? So these are the next questions, and then we'll move to the next session. The answer or respond to this question.
Okay. Yes, so the question is, there a perceptible difference in the taste that can be easily picked up by consumer? Yes. We used humans, the people who identified the difference in the changes in the flavor or the appearance of the samples were humans. So it's something that can be easily picked up by a consumer. Yes, that's the answer. And how long did it take for the hibiscus to change color? So from our findings, we observed that the Bissap changed in color slightly after the 21 days. We observed that after the 21 days, after 1 week, we didn't observe any significant difference in the color of the Bissap blends. And so this is something we saw after the 3rd week. Yes. Mr. Lamte, please, what was the question?
So I think the last one you've already so let me it's in the chat. Just give me a minute. I think I wrote it down. So would you advise producers to include ginger and sugar, since that's a taste that consumers are used to? I don't know whether you've already answered that. So that was the question. Okay, so we have a question from Gameli.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, please speak. Yeah.
Yes, so I'm saying I can't explicitly say right now that I'll advise anyone to add that or carrot. That's something that we can explore.
All right.
Yes.
Then we also have this final question from Gameli. He's saying, what is the size of the Bissap market? Will this formulation have any impact on pricing? And so this one, I will throw it to you and also Mami to come in.
Okay, thank you. I think the Bissap market is quite huge. This is something that Bissap is something that people drink in their homes. Is usually shared at events and all that. But I'll say that even if this formulation has an impact on pricing, it's about how you place the product, and this is something that we can place to health conscious consumers, and people are looking for healthier options. And so even if the price is, and I don't think it will have so much impact on people's purchasing of it, because people who are into healthier options would be interested in this product. Yeah, thank you.
And Julius, just to add to Gamali's question, I think if you would notice when Bissap first started, and this work we started work on Bissap over 7 years ago. And at the time, there were lots of small-scale processors trying to commercialize it. And we noticed that one of the things that happened a lot was you go into the supermarket shelves and they'll be moldy. And if you notice now, there are very few commercial Bissap products on the shelf. And I think it's because they're struggling with shelf life. And we are happy that we can help the industry grow again in this regard. I don't think I think commercialization has gone down just because of handling, because there were real known ways to keep it. And freezing alone as a way to preserve it is too expensive. So this actually provides an opportunity, even for small scale processors, to be able to maybe start thinking of commercializing again, because it helps to reduce the cost of cold chain in the commercialization process for the Sobolo drink. It has been a very popular drink, and I think it still has popularity, but the cold chain and with that fluctuating electricity, it makes it even difficult for people to consider it as a commercial product on the small scale. So that is what I may add to that.
Thank you very much. So we move on to the next important part, which is the feedback from this session. And this is important one because we would want to be able to track uptake and also collaborative engagement. So we've shared the link in the chat. So we ask that we all complete the form. And this is to help the researcher in expanding, then also for us at the GRIC Secretariat to improve subsequent engagement. And then the third one is to ensure that key initiatives that come out, we are able to track. So for instance, if there is any business entity here who would want to uptake, this form would help us to know who needs what, and then we can orchestrate those engagements. So we kindly ask that within the next 10 minutes, we all will do this work. I will be tracking the responses live so that we know that we are making progress. So respectively, let's complete the form. I see only one person completed the form. So we already have one person completing the form. Let's push more. So please, let's get this done. We are targeting 40. So we that are on the call, please let's ensure we are providing the feedback needed to. Sorry, I think I picked the wrong one. Sorry, no, sorry, I picked the wrong one. Sorry, kindly use this link rather. Sorry about this. Sorry, can you use this link I've shared? Okay, yeah. So currently we have no response yet. So respectively, let's spend the next 10 minutes to complete this feedback form. I see Sir Moses on the call. I see Ayao Akapo. Selma Owens from GA would appreciate your feedback. Joshua, I see Josephine Brown. I see Mohammed Yamufio, I think also from GA. Nana Inketia, Justina Mensah from IGH. Emmanuel, I see you on the call. I see Wilberforce Adugaba. I see Stephen Stone This Nana Isiang, Ivy Amalawson, Cindy Majite, Dr. Arnold Mashoud Abukari. I think you mentioned some of the collaborative work we're doing. So if there's something that you would want to consider here, would also want to have your feedback. I see Jones Frimpong on the call. Kindly share your feedback with us. George Aji, I see you also on the call. Agnes, I see Yvonne Boatma, I see William Kluche, Elsie Sako there, and I see Ibrahim Kwame Asante. He's from the CSR TDS. He also promoted this session on their platform, and so we have a couple of people joining through that link, and we're excited. And so, Mr. Ibrahim Kwame Asante, would appreciate you sharing your feedback with us. We only have one response. Please let's push up. Let's push up and complete the form so we're able to make progress. We have one. Please let's push. Let's get the response coming. Let's get the response coming.
Why don't we start developing them? So easier.
So we're still waiting for your feedback. We have two response. Please let get it coming. I know in the next 5 minutes we should be hitting our minimum of 40. So let's get it come. Great. We have 4. So let's move it. I see Alberta on the call. I see Abraham. I see Amalate, the CEO of Impact Invest in Ghana. She's joined us. And I'm sure before we end, she would share some few remarks with us. I see Eunice also on the call. Eunice, if you could also share your feedback with us. Okay, we have 6. So let's push harder. Please, let's get this coming. This really matters to us in ensuring that we are providing the right presentation and then also facilitating the right connections between research and industry players. We have 7. So let's push this within the next 5 minutes. We have 7. Let's push further. Okay, we have 8. So one of the ways to appreciate someone is to share your feedback. And so given the extensive work done by Beatrice and her team, the little that you can do is to share your feedback with us. And then also for us at the GRIC, we'll be more than happy to know that we are delivering the right quality of service. Okay, we have 10, and so we can push further. So let's get it coming. Okay, so I see a chat, the message in the chat from Agnes. She says that she is a packaging expert, and so she want to get back in touch to talk about the labeling. So we're excited of this aspect of this collaboration coming up. And so Agnes will be reaching out to you, and then we'll put do some follow up on that engagement together with the researcher. We have 11. Please let get it coming. If we are on the call 37 at the moment, we could share, would be able to hit our 40. And then those that may have dropped off would also follow up. So kindly let your feedback come. Okay, we have 12. Let's get it coming. So maybe those that joined now, I'm sharing the link again in case you might have not picked it up. So we are still at 12. At 12. So we have some few minutes to end this part of the feedback. So we kindly ask that you share your feedback with us. Right, we have 13, and so let's try to push it up. Let's try and push it up. Okay, so I see Sisime says that she wants to bring her packaging insights. So we are excited of this collaboration that is coming up. So we'll follow up Sisime Amaluchu. So Sisime, in case you haven't completed the feedback form, we will ask that you capture it in there, because that will be the medium in which we would want to do the follow-up. So we have 14. So let's push it. Let's try and hit at least 20 for now, and then we would do the phone calls. $15. We have some few minutes to wrap up this session, so let's get it coming. Let's use the next 2 minutes to hit the 20. We have 15. Final one. Who is bringing us the next 5? Who wants to join the next 5 responses to get to the 20? Okay. So we have how many? 16. So 4 more. Okay, 17. So 3 more to go so that we can hit the 20. Let's do the 20. and then we could bring this session to an end. So who wants to join the number 3 to complete this part? So let's get 20. Let's get 20. And then we'll still want to close at 11:30. So that, okay, we have 18, 2 more to go. 2 more to go. 2 more to go. 2 more to go. Two more to go. Who wants to join the 2? So we get the 20. 2 more to go. But let's get the 2. Two more to go. 2 more to go. Okay, we have 19. So 1 more to go. So let's get the final person. The final person to help us get the 20. The final person to help us get the 20. The final person. So who is helping us get excellence? Okay, so thank you very much for sharing your feedback with us. And so given the presentation that has been done by Beatrice, the next step is for us to go through the feedback form. And then we've already seen in the chat that Sesame and also Agnes have indicated their willingness to collaborate on the packaging aspect. We would also go through the form and find those that would want to explore collaborative areas. We would want to use this opportunity also to say that if you know of any business, any small scale business that would want to uptake this research, we are excited to share, to support in that regard. And we also want to provide this information that the Ministry of Environment, Science, Technology, and Innovation is running a technology transfer program where the goal is to be able to help SMEs who have identified any technology that would enhance their business processes. They contacted them and they provide the needed financial support. So in the GRIC, the first session that we had on the tiger nut milk, 7 SMEs expressed interest and they have completed a form to which the MEST is reviewing. Hopefully, the information we get, we are having in October, we should be able to get an update and they could access those technology from the consultant. So in that same spirit, we would also want to know those that are interested, and we could engage MEST to provide the needed support. I would want to pause here and ask Amalate, CEO of Impact Investing Ghana, to share some few thought reflections with us before we bring the meeting to a close.
Thank you, Julius, and a big thank you to Beatrice and her team from the University of Ghana, and for our partners at the University of Ghana, especially at the University of Ghana Business School, and their work that they are already doing for partnering with us to identify researchers who are interested in partnering with industry. We are very grateful. And to everyone who attended, we hope that the information you got was useful. And thank you for taking the time to fill the feedback form so that we can understand our own impact and we can grow and make this more useful to both the research community as well as the innovation community that is looking to uptake this. If there are others that you think should know about this, please connect them. We will be sharing research from a wide variety of disciplines. I think the first one was on tiger nuts. The second one was on AI.
using a very simple technology for traceability in value chains. The example that was shared was in the cocoa value chain, being able to do field testing, traceability, and all these things that are becoming requirements for export and are just good business practice. And so we hope that you will join us again for next month's edition. We're doing these every month and may even begin to increase the frequency because there's a lot of innovation in our institutions that needs to be showcased, celebrated, and commercialized. So thank you, Julius, and your team, and all the members of GRIC and supporters from CSIR, Ibrahim, from all the various industry associations who have been supporting this initiative. We're very grateful to have you on board. Over to you, Julius. Julius, you're muted if you're speaking.
Sorry, Amma. Thank you very much. Damali is on the call, so I wanted him to share some few remarks and then we could bring the meeting to a close. So Damali, if there's anything you want to add.
Hello, Julius, and good morning, everyone. I just want to say thanks for putting together this great event. Thank you to the speaker, Beatrice, for sharing your insights on how to preserve Sobolo. I think with the Bissap, I think it's a favorite for many of us in this country. So it just shows you the potential of platforms like this and how we can be able to find ways to scale the solutions that we develop in our labs in a way that really solves the problems of our society. So yeah, thanks for putting the session together and I enjoyed being part of it.
All right. So thank you very much. And we hope that we would continue the discussion in ensuring that all the research outputs that matter for industry are presented for the uptake. So have a nice day and all the best. Thank you once again.
Julius, there's a question about the recording, if it will be available maybe on YouTube later.
Okay, so what we will do is one, with the permission of the researcher, the presentation will be shared on the GRIC platform. And so, and then any other relevant information. Also, in terms of the recording, with the comms team, we'll see ways in which we could have it captured over there. But the immediate one will be the presentation, and then the summary of the research work that was done. So those one will be put on the platform, the GRIC platform. So we'll share those and invite with you via the chat. Yeah. I'm sorry, via email. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.